Hello there. Welcome back to Momma Js Country Gardening. Thank you so very much for joining us this afternoon. I'm with my daughter, my younger daughter, and her name is Ariel. But for those who are new to my channel, I just want to say welcome to Momma Js Country Gardening. Now, in fact, right now we're standing, in Momma J's Country Kitchen. And about as close as I'm going to get to a chicken, which is sitting in the middle of that sign right there. I'm oftentimes asking my daughter, do you think I can get some chickens now? And she's like, Mom, not right now, not now. This is not the time. So anyway, okay, we're in Momma J's Country Kitchen. And I just want to say thank you so very much for returning to join us today on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. It is currently 60 degrees in zone 6. Couldn't be a more perfect day. So my daughter Ariel is visiting with us from Piece of Refuge.
Yes.
Okay. Peace, PEACEOFREFUGE. Piece of Refuge. Now Ariel has her own blog. She has her own YouTube channel as well. Check her out. Ariel, take a few minutes on Momma J's Country Kitchen, Country Gardening Time, and tell us about your Piece of Refuge and your mission.
So my channel is called Piece of Refuge. As my mom said, my first video that's going to be going up soon is going to be a doghouse makeover. It's actually somewhat of a trash to treasure, really interesting makeover I did because my neighbor was throwing out an old playhouse and actually was able to get that from him and salvage it into what my mom calls a luxury doghouse. So that's going to be a really good video if you're interested. I share on my channel, I'm going to be sharing a lot of DIY home decor and home improvement projects that you can do yourself at home.
Thank you. Thank you. And that house is a luxury house. You'll see. Check it out, please. So, again, welcome to Momma J's Country Gardening. And, we always begin our talk with a scripture. This is my book with all my scriptures that I planned to share. So, bear with me. I just want to say God is good at allowing us to be here right now. And do know I mean every bit of that. Okay? So, our reading today is going to be from Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 28. Okay? He has sent to us in Babylon, saying, the exile will be long. Build houses and live in them, and plant gardens and eat their produce. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. I'm going to put this book down now. So, what are we doing today? Well, what we're going to do is make fried apple pies. Just enough for just one person to eat, and you just sit down if you want to with a bowl of ice cream, or just sit down with some powdered sugar on top, or just sit and eat it, period, with an ice cold glass of water. Your choice. But it's fall. And why not prepare something that's fun and it relates to the season? It's fall. Also, as the scripture just said, that you create your gardens, and I want to get the exact words. Okay? Build houses. Ariel's our DIY. And live in them. And plant gardens. Momma J has a pretty nice sized garden out there. And it was very, very much a big blessing to us over these years and eat their produce, and we do. So, what are we doing today? We're going to make fried apple pies. Okay? Everything from scratch. Okay? How blessed we are. But let's remember, everything starts with a
Seed.
with a seed. With the seed. Everything. So this apple started with a seed, and now it's a piece of fruit for which we're going to prepare and make into a pie. Okay? Be right with you. So we're going to wash our hands now to prepare for what we're about to do. I'm just going to rinse up my arm. There you go, all yours, Ariel. And you want to scrub your arms and your hands all the way up beyond your wrist. I always go up as far as I can. And scratch into your skin. If you want to get any bacteria or any outside anything off of your hands. Scrub the outside of your hands on the side. Okay. Get right in there. We're touching food. There's so much going on out here today, but one thing for sure, whether you're at home or out in public, wash your hands and keep yourself clean. Okay. Get that all off. So it's a beautiful day. As I stated, 60 degrees, no wind, no humidity. It's fall, definitely it's fall. People have begun to place their fall decorations out. They've placed their Halloween decorations out. Who knows what Halloween will be for this year? However, we're just going to be grateful to be here to celebrate it, is what I say. Everything is so different. You know, I call Momma Js Country Gardening because most of my youth, I was born and raised in the North, in Zone 6, and most of my youth, since I was I think from the age of 1, I spent my summers in New Bern, North Carolina, with my family down there. Love them most, and Christmas holidays. So a great deal of what you see I do, and the things that my garden. I had a great uncle who had a farm there. I used to love to go on that farm and pick berries and cotton and things like that, only because it was fun to me. I had a great grandmother who was the brother to that uncle. My mama Katie, may she rest in peace. Everybody's gone in the group that I'm talking about. And so I had aunts and uncles in North Carolina, and I was always at their side, watching the things that they did. My Aunt Nell ensured that I knew how to make things from scratch. So you'll see me do a lot of that. And at a time that we live in right now, it's really important that we learn how to live basic, to live simple, and to also make things as much as you possibly can from scratch. Okay? I taught my daughter Ariel. I taught my other daughter. You know, I taught my grandson and many other people. Some didn't want to listen, but now that the pandemic has begun, they're like, and so what was that you were trying to tell me about? Growing my own food? Can you tell me about that again? Yes, I can. Can you tell me how to make biscuits? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Can you tell me how to make bread? Yes, I can. Because what? The store shelves didn't have any bread. You couldn't get much of anything in the stores. Meats, vegetables, You name. So what I'm going to say to you right now is I'm going to provide you with all the ingredients for which Momma Js Country Gardening is preparing for you in her country kitchen. I love this kitchen. I love this kitchen. So I'm going to start with, camera lady, can you see all this here? Okay. I'm thinking that yeah. Okay. So we're going to begin with flour. This is, I like this brand of flour, Sarasota Unbleached Forever All-Purpose Flour. It's very good flour, honestly. I like this flour. 3 cups of this flour is going to go into this large bowl. Okay? This is to make the dough for the pies. Okay? So we got 3 cups of flour. This is a 2-cup measuring cup. This is a 1 cup. So it's all right here. I have a teaspoon of regular table salt. And this is fresh water. Ice water, there will be either 3 or 4 tablespoons of this fresh water. And all this is to make the dough. Okay? And a 3/4 cup of shortening. Now this shortening is Crisco. Crisco goes way back. Now it's in a stick, which really makes it good for us. With little marks on it to tell you how much will be whatever. There's a tablespoon. Yeah, there's a tablespoon. It goes all the way longer. And then so it has a line where it would be 3/4 cup. This is what we're going to use, 3/4 cup. So we'll have some left over. This is Crisco. Crisco makes a flakier crust. Okay? So this is why I like using that. And it's also old school. All right? And this is a cutter. So I'm going to use this cutter when I want to separate the dough to make myself have 2 balls. Two balls of dough. And I can use one at some other time, and we'll talk more about that later, but this is a dough cutter. So all that I just described to you right here are the ingredients for the pie pastry, okay? Here's my rolling pin. I know you all have kitchen toys. This is one of mine. And my cutting board, okay? Now we're going to move to the area that has to do more with creating the apples. So I told you this is deep fried, or it is deep fried apple pie, okay? So I already have, I'm going to fry it in my wok. This is another one of my kitchen toys. I've had this wok now, I want to say 15 years. I love this wok. But anyway, this is what I'm going to fry the pies in. And in here is regular vegetable oil. I'm sorry. In here is regular vegetable oil. Okay? So it actually is, this is a quart. Okay, this is a 1.5 quarts. So 1.5 quarts of vegetable oil is what's in here. All right, you can put a little less if you like, or you can put a little more. But I'm using 1.5 quarts. This is what's in this container. It's empty. That's why I have it here to let you see it. Okay. Apple juice. 1/2 cup of apple juice. We need that. And I remember telling you before, for anyone that's a returning viewer from Momma J, that I either use a non-sweetener for sugar, or I use raw organic cane sugar. For this, because apples have sweetener in it already naturally, I'm using non-sweetener. So there's a cup of non-sweetener here, and it doesn't have to be anybody's name, but there's Splenda, Sweet and Low, whatever kind of name you want. This is stevia, okay, and this is a non-sweetener. So you have half a cup of that. You see my measuring spoon? I'm using black measuring spoons over for the pastry, and I'm using the silver spoons for the apples. So 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, and what it does, it gives a thickening in the cooking of the apples, okay? Make really nice pastry filling. Along that, we're going to place 1/2 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon. That's what I was doing. 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of ground allspice, and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Now, I have apple pie spice, and all of the same ingredients that I just shared with you, nutmeg, ground allspice, and ground cinnamon, are in this little container here. So you can simply just purchase the apple pie spice and use that to season, or maybe I'm doing things old school. I'm going to use each one of these, but I'm just telling you, you have the option to use that. I'm not going to today. Okay. 1 stick of butter. And of course, we got to have the apples. We've already washed these apples, dried them, and they're ready to go. This is a lot of apples here, but we're going to slice each one of these apples. Ariel's going to do that for Momma J. Slice each one of these apples, and then peel the skin off. And she's going to use, she got this is what she's using. So Ariel is going to take this apple peeler, or what is it, slicer, apple slicer. It even shaped like an apple. She's going to put it on top here like so, and then she's going to whammo, go down on top of it, and all of a sudden, they're going to become slices. Now me, okay, I'm old school. I would have taken a knife and cut it in half, and then cut it in half again, and then till I made all those little sections that she's gonna make. This is what the young folks use. And you take the core out. Well, her way, the core is gonna come right on out. Poof! Gonna be on like this. Whoop! That's it. The core is gonna be out like, right in your eye. Mom, why don't you use that? I'm like, okay, that's all right. You can use that. Okay? And this is the little dish that the ice slices are going to go into. The apple slices are going to go into. Okay? And then she's going to place them into this pan. All right? Now, once she finishes that, she's got another little gadget. This is Ariel's gadgets. Okay? And you stick your finger in here, somehow way, and she's going to peel the skin off the slices of the apple. So, that's that part. I have my red Rachel Ray pot, for which when all the apples have been cut into quarters and sliced and peeled, they would go into this pot. And all the ingredients for which I described to you will go in with those apples, okay? So when we finish cooking that, we'll let it cool before we begin to stuff them into the pastry. So we're gonna let Ariel go ahead with the apples, and then we'll let that part get done, and then I will come back because the next thing we're going to do is make the pastries.
So now I'm going to start cutting the apples. I'm using this apple slicer, but we actually decided that the dish would be better for just putting the cores inside because I can't, the apple slicer is a little bit big for that. So I'm going to show you how to use this. You can get an apple slicer like this from the dollar store. Most dollar stores carry them. And anyway, we're going to start. I already did one here. So you just put it over the core and then push down. Now to get it out, you just want to push them back out the opposite direction.
So at this point, Ariel, all of your slices are uniform.
Yes, so you're going to get perfect slices. And here is our core. It's going to come out like that. Also, while we're in the kitchen, I wanted to mention that I actually did, these cabinets were actually my first project in this house. When we first moved in this house, the first thing that I did was paint these kitchen cabinets. So I painted all the cabinets, I put on new hardware. So everything you see here in this kitchen is pretty much DIY by me. So if you like the kitchen and you want to see more things like that, then I have stuff posted on my blog, and I also I'm going to be posting some videos of those types of projects on my YouTube channel. I don't know if I mentioned the website name before, but that website is peaceofrefuge.com. So it's PEACE of refuge.com. So this is our second apple. One last apple. And then after we're done this, I'm just going to speed up this part. So you'll see me slice everything, and then once we get to the peeler, I'll show you how I use that too. Now you can also take the slices out of the top part too, whichever way you want to do it, but again, you get a nice solid slice. I'm just going to show you one more how I would typically take the slice from the top. And so another way you can get them out is just to wiggle them free at the top. This one I'll have to cut a little bit of the core, because the crooked apples, sometimes they'll leave a little bit of core on there. Okay, we're going to speed the rest of it up.
Now Ariel's going to use her toy to peel those apples. In here you'll see red apples. These are Macintosh, and you'll see green, and those are Granny Smith. Okay, and for my way of making an apple pie, and what I was always taught, is you want to mix it up like that. You can do things your way, but my Aunt Nell taught me that you should mix them. May she rest in peace. So I still follow what she says. Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna show you guys how to use the finger peeler. I just put it on. You want to put it on your dominant hand, I would think. So you want to get it into the thing and then you just run it over. So it's got a really nice peel in just a few swift motions.
Oh, so that's without cutting your fingers, huh?
Yes, you
okay.
never should cut your fingers this way.
And you don't cut too deep into the apple.
No. You're going to get a nice thick slice and a perfect peel with this. And you can use this peeler to make on potatoes and if any other fruits or vegetables that you like to peel.
And where did you purchase that from?
We actually had this a long time. I'm not really sure. But you should be able to get this at any store where they sell kitchen goods. And they're not too expensive. You might even be able to find them online. I would think if you search for finger peeler, it would probably come up. But I'm not exactly sure what they call this on the market.
If any of our viewers are familiar with this finger peeler, why don't you leave that down in the comments section, please, and share that with other folks that are subscribers to Momma Js Country Gardening channel. I think they would be interested in that.
Okay, we're going to speed up the rest of the peeling.
Well, thank you very much, Ariel, for your support today. So Ariel was a big help. Now, she sliced all the apples and then she peeled them. So what I'm going to do is cut them. Cut them into small pieces because we're going to put these in our pies. All right? It's going to be a lot of cutting going on here. So that's going to be some time, and I'm not going to take up your time. So I'm going to continue to cut these up in small pieces and make them easier to and faster to cook. But also, it's nice for biting into, and they'll be soft when we cook them. So this is what I'm going to do. One of the things you can do, you can see how the apples can start to turn a little brown. That's because the oxygen from the air has hit them. Is you can pour some apple juice, which I did on some of them, and mix it all around on it to keep its color, and that prevents that from coloring so quickly. And but it's okay for what we're going to do. But I did put some apple juice, not from the half a cup for which I already talked to you about. Just poured some on top from the bottle. Okay, so I'm going to continue this chopping. And Ariel has gone on to another DIY project. She always has one going on. Actually, she always having 3 or 4 of them going on. at the same time. So please, please, please take a visit to Piece of Refuge and see what Ariel got going on. You know, many people have been asking us, you should do your own, you should have a YouTube channel. Okay, we have one now. You know, people have been asking us to do this for a few years, and we finally did decide to do what it takes to get this going. So I hope you'll subscribe to both channels if you haven't already. Subscribe to Momma Js Country Gardening, and hit that thumbs up for liking the video. I pray you do. Everything that we do is going to be fun and informative. The apples that I'm cutting up here are not from Momma Js Country Gardening. These are from Maple Farm. As I shared with you, if you looked at one of my other videos, it's only one or two places I'm buying fresh food from. And that is, I'm either going to be growing it myself in my garden, or I make my purchases from the local farm. Okay? And that's Maple Farm. They're not even 10 minutes away from my home. Honestly. And I please encourage you to go take a visit to that farm. I think you'll be encouraged to return over and over again. And they're open 7 days a week. I'm not advertising for them. I'm just sharing. As I said to you, I always like to do. So I'm going to continue chopping, and I'll get back at you. Thank you. So I chopped up all of the apples. And by the way, there were exactly 12 apples. So Ariel was my assistant. She sliced the apples, and she peeled the apples. What I did was cut the apples up into small pieces, okay? And so I'm going to now take this over to the stove, where I have all of the spices and that's going to go into the apples, okay? So we're going to cook this. So I have a stick of butter, unsalted, please. I have cornstarch, that thickens the sauce. I have ground nutmeg, ground allspice, and ground cinnamon. Cinnamon. And a half a cup of apple juice. Already measured out. And a cup of non-sweetener, which is stevia. Okay? For medical reasons, we keep sweetening down to a level. Okay? So this is for, someone who has a concern about too much sugar, maybe they're diabetic, or other concerns. You want to cook as much as you can with non-sweetener. And so this is what this is. There's already sweetness in the fruit itself. Okay? And there will be little carbs. In the flour, you're probably looking at about 8 carbs. Okay? And then I'm not adding any additional carbs with the sugar. Let's see what cornstarch. Cornstarch has 9 carbs. Okay? For 1 tablespoon. And then we have the fruit itself. And fruit is normally like about 16 to 20 carbs. So count your carbs and balance it right with your food so that you can get what you need or your body requires. So I'm going to go ahead and put the apples into the pot. This is my Rachel Ray pot. I told you I've had for more than 12 years. I'm going to turn it on medium. Okay. And pour them in. So they're all in there. I'm going to put in, because I want to make a coating on these apples, I'm going to go ahead and put the cornstarch in, which is a teaspoon. May not seem like a lot, but it's enough. Okay. I'm going to put that in, sprinkle it all around and stir it. There we go. That's enough of that. I love the smell of apples cooking in the home, and cinnamon in the fall. Oh my goodness, that is a beautiful smell. That is a beautiful aroma. All right, we're going to put a teaspoon of cinnamon in. And you can, you know, season this to your taste. See how you like it. Some people put caramel into theirs. Again, for us, that would be too much sugar. But someone else may be okay. You can place caramel in there. Okay, we're going to put a teaspoon of ground allspice. Now you could have just used a packet of the little container of apple pie spice if you liked, and you not use all these, but the same thing that's in that little container is what I'm putting here. Ground allspice, ground cinnamon, and ground nutmeg. Okay, now I'm going to place a teaspoon of ground nutmeg. I want all these flavors to marry. Everything's going in here at the same time. Now I'm going to place the non-sweetener in, or as you might use sugar. And remember this, we're using a 1 cup. 1 cup. It's all in there. Okay? And butter. And butter. Put this whole stick of butter in here. Brings everything together real nicely. And who doesn't like a butter taste? All these flavors are going to be beautiful. So, I'm going to let this cook down. Let those apples get hot. And I'm going to wash my hands here with my textbook butter. Okay, and remember I have a half a cup of apple juice. Some people use apple cider. We don't particularly care for apple cider in our house, but you can use it in yours. But this is apple juice. You say you're putting more apples on top of apple juice? It's a little acidity thing going on here. That's good. Okay, I'm going to stir this all up, let this melt, and come back at you. Okay, so I want to share with you where we are right now. Can you take a peek at this? Okay, great. Camera lady, thank you. You're getting all these aromas? So, while I was stirring this up, you can see it's gotten, look at that, savory. Oh boy. And some people, like I said, place caramel into theirs. This is too much sweetening. I'm just chopping these apples up as they get softer, because these chunks, I don't want the big chunks in my personal apple pies, my fried apple pies. Now, I did some calculations to see how many carbs would be in one, what's the carb count for one fried apple pie? And what I learned, what I figured out is it's going to be very friendly. It's not like eating a whole apple, because you just got so much inside it, the filling of the pie. And We use non-sweetener for sugar. So this should total up to be about 10 carbs. Not more than 15. So I'm looking at this to be about 10 to 15 carbs. So you can calculate based on that. Okay, so we're gonna let this continue to get soft. I'm gonna place a top on this pot so my apples can get softer. And I'll come back every so often and continue to stir it all in. And then we'll let you see what it looks like. And then after that, the next thing we're gonna do is make the pastry, make the pie crust. Okay? All right, thank you. This is our cooked apples, all completed now. And we've let them cool. It took a total of 35 minutes to cook them to tender. And they have a nice consistency to them. It's delicious too. So the aroma in this kitchen is smelling like fall right now. So we're going to go over and now begin to make the pie crust. So now it's time to make the pie crust. Okay. Now remember doing everything here as I understood it to be the old-fashioned and the country way. Okay. So although Ariel brought some newfangled way of doing things, actually we have a potato peeler, apple peeler that's got a handle on it, and I still couldn't, I believe in just using a knife, so we're gonna move on. Anyway, I thought I'd add that. So I have my bowl. We're gonna make the crust now, okay? If you don't want to use this way of making the crust, you can go to the market in the refrigerator section and you can buy the Pillsbury or the store brand pie crust. And all you simply have to do is roll it out, take it out of the box, roll it out, and go ahead and cut out what you want to cut out, okay? But we're going to make it using the ingredients. And you know what? It's fine. So, remember I told you we need 3 cups of flour, right? So there goes 1 cup. Simple as that. Here's a 2-cup cup. And that's all in. Now I'm going to put this in the sink as that. I like washing things as I go along. Okay. I'm just going to stir this up together just a little bit because I had 2 separate cups in here. Salt, just a little. And this is 1 teaspoon. I'm trying to make everything a level teaspoon, a level cup. That means right to the edge. You know, it has the legal amount of it being called 1 teaspoon or 1 cup. So I'm going to put that in there. Uh-oh, it didn't fall in my mixture. The top on it. Put that over there. And now I'm going to just stir this in a little bit so I have little particles of salt all over this flour. Now, if you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. It's encouraging to me. I know you're viewing my videos, you and I don't know how many other countless people, but I do know that, and I appreciate that. But one of the things I'd like to see is some thumbs ups. Give me a thumb up, okay? Please. All right. Now we have the Crisco, butter flavored Crisco. I like this. Crisco gives your crust a flakier taste. It's light. We want a 3/4 cup, so I'm going to cut off 1/4. There we go. It's not going to go to waste. It's going to go in my fry pan. set it in there. You have to have it ice cold, like put it in the freezer as you're preparing to make your, to prepare your pies. Put your Crisco in the freezer. If you're using butter to make your crust, you can do that too. And wipe this off. Put it in the freezer. You want your shortening to be ice cold. This is. I'm just taking it out, and while it's been out here just a few minutes, it's already starting to get a little not so frozen. All right, there we go. Okay. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is cut it into small pieces. Just like that. All right, so we're going to cut this, chop up the shortening into the flour. And I'll make this a crumbly like mixture. You really want to get it in there. No hard work involved, just a little time consuming, but you know what? We're going to do everything we can to keep life as simple as we possibly can. One thing for sure is this COVID time that's going on right now, you know, it's actually teaching people how to get back to basics. Stop taking everything for granted. Make your own. And for the young people that exist today, you know what? Learn how to make things from scratch. Biscuits, pie crust, okay? You'll enjoy it better. Get your children involved of all ages. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. So, enough of that. I'm going to use my fingers now because you have to do that. And they're clean. I washed them. And then I'm just going to crumble this up to get it like that. Just like that. Flour's going anywhere, but it's okay. We're cooking. The same process that we're using, we're going to make fried pies, fried apple pies. Well, instead of making smaller pies, we can take the same recipe and make whole pie crusts that go on an 8.5, 9-inch pan. It's the same thing, okay? And there's no stress in this. You're having a rough day, start making pie crusts. Things aren't going right, go in the kitchen, make them right. Okay? Same thing with the garden. Leave all whatever you're concerned about outside. I find it to be very therapeutic. Not that, praise God, that I'm worried about anything. I am not. And you know what? You have to learn how to turn things over to Him. And I'm turning it over to Him to make sure my pie crust turned out right. Okay. Anyway. You can see that's looking a little crumbly right there. See there? Okay. That's good. Okay. Time for the water. Now, this will require about 4 to 6 tablespoons of water. maybe a little more, okay? But we're gonna start with 4. And the reason you do that, and this is ice cold, fresh water. The reason you do that is you don't want to overwater your batter, your mixture. That's 3, and here's 4. Okay, I'm gonna wear off of that for a little bit. Mix it in here together. See it clumping up. Now I'm going to help this because I'm going to have to dig in with my blessed utensils, and that's my 2 hands. The spoon and the fork that God gave me are my 2 hands. I'm getting ready to bring them into this. Okay. Pour this ice cold water, and whatever's left over is going in me. That was 2. That was 3. Okay. Okay, so we made our dough. Now we're going to refrigerate it for about 20-30 minutes and come back, okay? Moved my dough out of the refrigerator. It's been 30 minutes actually because I started doing some other things here at home. That's what you do. You multitask. Okay, so I'm going to sprinkle this flour down on my board. This is called playing with your food. Play with your food. And this is one of the few places where you can hang out, where you can talk to yourself and nobody be looking at you like you got 2 heads. That laughter you heard in the background, that was not a pre-recorded. You know, back in the 60s and 50s, they had pre-recorded laughter. So back in the 60s and the 50s, they had these pre-recorded laughter things going on, like inside the Three Stooges and other shows like that. You know, it was even pre-recorded in the 70s for the Jeffersons. Well, that's not a pre-recording back there in the background. That's my grandson cracking all up in it. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Okay, so we're playing with our food and having a good time. This is where I can talk to myself. I can say anything I want to by myself. And I do play with your food. So now, and this is where you can get your hands some kind of way. See my hands some kind of way? Playing with my food. All right. But I'm flouring my hands up because I have to roll this dough. So I'm going to take my dough out. Hello, come on out of there. Come on out of there. Come on out of there. This is how the children act when they don't want to come in the world, when the mama's giving birth to them. Sorry, excuse me for a minute. You know, Mama J be going places. So here we go. Okay, there we go. So it's rolled out. I took it out of the bowl. It's not rolled out, but I took it out of the bowl. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I love pretty food. You say, well, Mama J, what's pretty about that thing all covered up with that? So if you felt some jiggling going on in the camera, that's because the camera lady and her son, they up there making fun of Mama J. That's all good. I don't have no problem with that. Like you said, that, like that. You gotta be kind to your food, but I just did that because I'm making a point to my grandson. He's holding the camera. So, ooh, look at that. Okay, now I'm gonna roll this out now. That's perfect. This way, perfect. And then I'm gonna cut it. Let me get some flour. Get a little dust. This is the kind of dust you want. Not that dust that accumulates in home that ain't being taken care of. So this is I'm gonna dust this up real good. This is good stuff. Okay. I'm gonna roll it out. And then roll it out this way. Okay. Still got more in the middle. So I just cut this dough into 4. Separating it out. It's easy to work with. I'm gonna put that right there. That right there. Now, just the way these are, I can make pot pies. Just need to make this a little thinner. Put it in a container. Okay, in a bakeable container, and then put the filling in it. It could be chicken, it could be beef, it could be pork, whatever I want to put in it. Okay, vegetables, make pot pies. What you can do, and then put a topping on it. But what we're going to do is make fried apple pies. That's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to roll this out a little bit more. Oh, need some flour. Okay. Here we go. Roll it out. Roll it out. Nothing hard about it, just real easy. Okay. Good. Looks almost like the candy corn shape. Oh, that's just because we made it look like that. You do whatever you want to do in your kitchen. Okay? And this is Momma Js Country Kitchen. I'm gonna do it my way. And then once you get the basics, you can do it your way. It's all about spreading your horizon. Play with your food. Oh, look at that. It does look like a candy corn. Now I'm going to bring these edges in here together. I ain't got to do a lot with it. Okay. Okay. That's the shape it's going to be right now. Now for the fun. I'm getting ready to put the stuffing in here. Okay, there's my apples. Nice and cool. Okay. It's going to be delicious. Remember I said we put non-sweetener in here. And this is diabetic friendly. Okay. But you won't know it. Let's see, I might take a little bit of this out. Okay. Let's just see here. I think I'll bring this way. I'm going to close it out so it don't fall out. Almost looking like a croissant. This one is anyway. Wait a minute, I need to get some water. Pour a little bit in there. Just wet these edges just a little bit. Helps to seal the dough, okay? Alright, there it is. And then I'm going to do this one. Wet the edges a little bit, you see? You know, we don't lick stamps anymore. We just take the stamps and just peel them off the paper and you just Stick them on. Well, it was a day we had to lick postage stamps. That day is over. But then when we did have to, most of us have already figured out that you just take a little water and you just dampen it. All right, there we go. That's pretty. And now I'm going to fold this over because that's the way this one's going to look. Okay. All right, it's pretty. I like pretty food. Makes it worth eating. All right. Here we go. That's how that one look. It's together. Not going nowhere. A little flour on there to hold that. Now in the meantime, my oil is getting hot. I'm going to crimp these edges with my fork. Oh, well, I better get another fork. I'm going to rinse this fork off. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to dry it. Dry my hands. Okay, I'm going to crimp the edges. Add in a little flour to make sure I'm dry. Just like that. Okay. So, hold it together. You won't want another McDonald's pie, I'll tell you that. When you start making your own. You won't want another Starbucks pie. You start making your own. And you know what's in it. You know how fresh the ingredients are. My apples came from Maple Acres Farm in Zone 6. I don't have an apple tree in my yard. Okay. There we go. I'm going to put one right here. I don't want to tear it down. Okay. It's a heavy pie. There we go. All right. Now if you want to, you can put a couple of holes in the top like so if you want to. Just for a little air, a little decoration. You don't have to. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to put another one over here. Almost like a star. You can make it look any way you want to. All right. That's all I'm going to do with that. And now I'm going to put it in my hot oil. Then, just I'm trying to pull apart. Don't do that. And you just lay it in easy. Put them in at the same time. You hear that? It's ready. It was asking for it. All right, I'll place one more in. I'll let it, they're going to be edge to edge so that they can evenly cook. There you go. All right, well, we'll let that do its thing, and we'll take them out and show you the finished pie. Hey, there you go. We just want to get golden brown. And I'm just shaking off all the excess oil. Set aside. I'm going to place it on here to drain in that tray. Now this one, these are really heavy, folks. Real heavy. Okay. let it cool. While these are cooling off, I'm going to make 2 more and put them in here. Just enough for us. Okay. There you go. Put that in. Let that drain. I'm going to make 2 more. And we'll come back at you. So I'm okay. We have 4 fried apple pies. This is our smallest one right here. Not to say that it's missing any flavor, but I think I'm going to be good to eat because I prepared this, so I'm going to have a piece of this one. The crust is very flaky, as you can see, and that's because of the Crisco shortening. So let me cut into it, and then I want to get a fork so I can, and it's real beautiful. Look at there. Okay. I'm gonna have, you know what, I was going to be polite and get a fork, but this is mine, so I can just go ahead and bite it. Okay? Bear with me while I do this, please. Flaky. Absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna take a bite. That's how I was taking one bite, right? I'm going to take another bite. This is fantastic. As I already said, I'm going to take another bite. This is beautiful. Oh my cinnamon. As old Alabama gardener would say, I wish you could share this with me. Here's to you, old Alabama gardener. That's my friend. This is beautiful. Now, I got crumbs everywhere. I really wish I could share this with you. But it's easy to make. Like I said, roll out the Pillsbury dough. Nothing wrong with that. And make this circles to stuff the pastry in as small or as big as you want them. Now, I gotta have another bite. And you know what? It's dinner time. But I'll be all right because I'm gonna have something for dessert too. This is mine. And then there's one for Scott, one for Toya, and one for Ariel. One for everybody. You can sprinkle some powdered sugar on it if you like. You can drizzle some caramel on it if you like. You can eat it just like it is, as I am. You can put a plop of ice cream on the top. Look, it's your pie. You do what you want to do. I'm going to have this again. And then I'm going to let you go. I'm hard. I hate to put it down. So, listen. What I say, Momma J say, for everything, give thanks. I'm very thankful for this beautiful apple pie, fried, and I have more. I have more left over, of course, because I had 12 apples. So I can make apple fritters. I can make more pie. I only need to make the dough. Look, we can take this and put it on top of the ice cream. But this is going to be used for another day. Another day might be tomorrow. So, thank you for joining me in making fried apple pies. Okay? And so for everything, give thanks. And that Bible scripture is from 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 18. Thank you, Lord. God bless.